Welcome back. Well, the fourth quarter of 2018 had lots of volatility, but the first quarter of this year has actually given us one of the best starts to a stock market in years. Now, as we wrap up the end of the first quarter, let's get a take on what were some of the big stories. So with me, I've got Masood Ghazi, the NASDAQ senior analyst, NASDAQ Intelligence senior analyst. Great to have you back again. Thank you.
How's it going, Jane?
Yes, and Alan Valdes with Silverbear Capital, and also Gail Jennings, the Worcester Fund CEO. Welcome, all of you. So, Masood, let's start with you. If you had to write a headline for the first quarter 2019, how would you sum it up?
I think I would call it the rally of everything.
Okay.
We're seeing the bond markets rally. We're seeing the equity markets rally. And a couple of reasons for this. One, financial conditions have eased. The reason they have eased is because we're in an easy money policy environment. The Federal Reserve has tilted dovish. So we're seeing liquidity injections into the system, not just the Federal Reserve, but global central banks. That's one. Two, we're seeing the easing of trade tensions. Both President Trump and the Chinese administration are incentivized to strike a deal and end the trade tensions. And finally, point three, the global economy was not as bad as feared. And we're seeing some positive momentum in the latter half of the year with respect to economic data and expectations with the U.S. economy.
Okay, so Alan, what would you title this?
Resilient, and I agree. And we have a lot of European clients and Asian clients, and the European clients, if they're running 100 billion, we're the best house in the worst neighborhood. So a lot of money is coming here. I mean, you look at Germany, it's on the verge of recession, and it was the strongest in Europe. We don't know what's happening out of Britain. So things are changing over there, and a lot of money is coming to U.S. stock markets. It's just a liquid market. It's a great place to invest, and I think you'll see that the rest of the year.
Really? Okay. So, Gail, what would you headline?
Yeah, I mean, I would call this the watch this space. I mean, the things I'm seeing out there, particularly in the startup space with entrepreneurs and founders, is a lot of excitement. There's a lot of technology that's coming out, and so I think you're absolutely right that this is a place where we should be deploying a lot of capital.
Jane, one of the reasons behind a lot of this momentum is I attribute it to the tax cuts and deregulation. So these are good incentives, and when we look at the Small Business Optimism Index, it has spiked in 2017. In 2018. In 2019, it has plateaued. But the fundamentals of the economy, from that standpoint, the incentives are still very strong.
Yeah, I mean, you've got more money sloshing around there, kind of finding its way to where it can grow, and that's helping the economy.
Right, and on a domestic front, you look at the Russell, I mean, because of the tax cuts, but also unemployment's so low now that, you know, there's 7 million people they can't even get jobs for. There's just so many job openings out there right now, they can't even fill it to the number of like 7.2 million I read the other day. So a lot of that has to do with the tax cuts and the strong economy and all that disposable money hanging around. They're putting in Americans, you know, they make money, they don't save it, they go right out and spend it.
And Gail, I know that you deal with a lot of entrepreneurs. I mean, are they feeling also optimistic? Is a reflection of the stock market as well?
Yeah, they're feeling optimistic. They're feeling like they're getting the meetings and getting the capital that they need. And so I think they're very much in this like scale and grow mode, which is very different on the top of the house, because I think going back to what was said before about China and trade, right? Yes, the tensions are sort of flattening, but that really had a lot of business leaders nervous, right? People were sitting on the sidelines. So
especially
I think,
in certain industries.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as that's easing, I think we're going to see a lot more growth, a lot more people comfortable with spending. Manufacturing is going to go up. And so, yes, absolutely, watch this space, watch it on the top of the house, but absolutely don't forget these entrepreneurs. They're actually the fastest growing part of the economy.
Absolutely, to my earlier point, and you make a great point, and the reason why we're seeing stronger wages, higher wages, is because the demand for labor is going up, and the demand for labor is going up because the fundamentals of the domestic economy are strong.
Alan, two companies I think got a lot of attention in the first quarter, Boeing and Facebook. What would you have to say about those two?
Well, you know, I think, I mean, we know, but I think the public sometimes, we look at the Dow and we see, oh, it's down 200 points. But a lot of times it's a stock like Boeing, which is down 100 points in the weighted average. So you got to really look into why the market's down. Sometimes it's one stock dragging everything down. So it can be misleading. But I think, you know, in the news cycles, when we have so many news people out here reporting every day what's going on, that it can get like overkill and the market reacts so quickly with algos and with, you know, fast traders.
It's almost a too big to fail story too, right? But I think the other side of this that we shouldn't lose sight of is the communication, right? So how do CEOs like a Zuckerberg and Mullenberg, how do they handle that, right? Like consumers matter. And we've
Without
got to
doubt.
remember that, and how we communicate to them is going to be crucial in how we get through any of these, whether it's Facebook and regulation, whether it's Boeing and the situation.
So real quick, as we get the second quarter underway, what will you be watching? Gail, you want to start?
I'm kind of looking out to look in. This morning, I was really intrigued by Japan downgrading its economy. I mean, that's the first time in, I think, 3 years I read. That I'm looking at. China, absolutely. I think this is a global story that I'm
So international.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it inside in.
Alan?
I agree. I think the market's going to stay strong this year. I think we could see Dow 30,000 by the end of the year.
Wow. All right.
Well, we're not that far away, so I think we could definitely see that happen. And again, I think unemployment stays low domestically is good. Europe's, I think anybody's guess what's going to happen over there. And it's going to be
The
interesting.
new record highs for the Dow.
That's
we'll,
it.
we'll come back December and see where we are. And Ms. Suda, what would you?
So monetary policy and fiscal policy. Beginning with fiscal policy, we have a divided Congress, so not expecting much. No big tax cuts or tax hikes, no major deregulations underway. So not expecting much from there. In terms of monetary policy, I think all eyes are on the Fed, how they'll position themselves, how they will pivot, especially as economic data comes in.
Thank you so much, Masood, Alan, and Gail, for joining us.
Thanks
and
for
thank
having
you
us.
as
Thank you.
well. We'll be right back.